Donald Trump is now creating causes of action for major institutions in Washington, D.C. to be sued into oblivion and to be shut down if the institutions and organizations don't carry his name. So now he's building poison pills into donor-based organizations that say if the organization doesn't have Trump's name, that institution or organization is thus required to return all monies it received from donors, all funding it's received for the fiscal year. So Trump's trying to position it either these institutions and organizations carry Trump's name or else they must be shut down. And he's now inviting donors and putting them in an interesting position, saying if Trump's name is off, you now get to basically have a cause of action against the Trump appointed board members as well, because he now creates liability amongst the board who have certain fiduciary obligations. And he's saying the board must return your funds. And if the board is not able to carry out the institution functions with Trump's name on it, hence they're basically liable. And these board members are such Trump sycophants and bootlickers that they're agreeing to all of this. I mean, I think about being a board member on things. I'm a board member of certain organizations. I think about your roles and responsibilities and fiduciary obligations. And I think about what the ultimate function of the organization is, to put in a poison pill that says it must carry the name of dear leader or else we could be sued, is like one of the craziest things. And we know one very flagrant example of this, and it looks like Donald Trump was the person who filed this motion, is when a federal judge said, when it comes to the Kennedy Center, there's no irreparable harm in taking Donald Trump's name off. So I am going to order the name be removed, because if I'm overturned by a circuit court of appeal or a Supreme Court and they say Trump's name is indispensable to being on the Kennedy Center, despite what I found to be violations, there's no irreparable harm. You can just go and put the name back on. So what Trump did is something that you would never do. It's unheard of. He creates a situation of irreparable harm and changes the bylaws of the Kennedy Center to say the Kennedy Center must return all monies to everybody from all time if the name removes Trump, so that they can then argue, we face irreparable. Now we have to return all of the money to the donors. That wasn't the rule before. That wasn't what the bylaws say. It is some bat crazy stuff right here. And when you look at what this motion or whatever you want to call it, again, it looks like Donald Trump is posting his Trump social media posts. And it's like, defendants respectfully seek a stay pending appeal on the district court's permanent injunction requiring the removal from the campus of the John F. Kennedy Center of all physical signage reflecting the name of Donald J. Trump. This appeal raises serious questions about Article 3 standing and the powers of the center's board. Major physical changes to the center should await this court's resolution of those issues. As an equitable matter, it does not make sense to alter the center's name and signage now, only to potentially revert the name again after what should be a successful appeal. The district court is not allowing us to close in order to properly fix up and repair the building, including potentially life-threatening structural damage like beams and parking garage ceilings that are rusted and in serious danger of falling onto people below. Indeed, total collapse, exclamation point. Moreover, stripping Trump's name from the center threatens to substantially undermine fundraising and financial viability at the most sensitive point in history, a time when other such performing arts structures throughout the country are in serious financial difficulty. Many of them, like the Kennedy Center, losing hundreds of millions of dollars per year because the district court's orders otherwise requires compliance by the end of the day, defendants request this administrative stay. Without the name Trump on the building, our fundraising will not only come to a halt, but any and all monies raised or committed would be obligated to be returned. The bylaws of the Trump Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts state unequivocally, the corporation may make donations to the center in support of its educational, artistic, cultural, and performing arts functions, provided, however, that in so doing, the board of directors shall condition such donations to the center upon the name of the center remaining unchanged as the Donald J. Trump John F. Kennedy Memorial Center. In the event the center changes its name, then there must return, the corporation shall recover from the center the total of all gifts, donations, and contributions made on behalf of the corporation. I want to bring in Harry Litman because when the Trump regime also has been trying to do this golden ballroom and they've been shut down, and the federal judge says, no, the ballroom requires congressional authorization. Now, sure, if it comes to national security, we're not going to get in the way of that. So you're going to build a bunker underneath. We're not going to stop you from your bunker. So what does Trump do? It's all a bunker. Huh? Yeah, the ballroom is a shield that's part of the bunker, and there's a national security threat that the White House is going to be targeted by ballistic missiles and drones. And so the ballroom is actually a shield where we're also going to build a drone port on top of it. Thus, we need the ballroom. And so, Harry, these are things that are unfathomable. And I'll tell you why. And now they have to be fathomable, and we have to address it generationally going forward, that you can have a sicko, psycho, lunatic lawbreaker who does this stuff. Because where our founders and others thought that this was dealt with was in the take care clause of Article 2, which to me is the ultimate implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing written into the Constitution, that the person who executes the laws shall faithfully execute those laws and take care that they're faithfully executed. Meaning, when Congress passes something, you don't have to say, well, you didn't say this, so I'm going to do that. You take care that the spirit, that everything is in there is executed. What Trump does is, if you give him a little bit of inch, the way the Supreme Court did in absolute immunity when it comes to Article 2 powers, oh, got it. If I just say it's war or national security, got it, then I can do this. Oh, the standard's irreparable harm, got it. I'll inject irreparable harm, and now I'll win this way. And at the end of the day, Harry, we're losing. The people are losing. Americans are losing while he pursues this, whatever you want to call it. Help us make sense of all of this, Harry.
No, look, it's exactly right. The whole idea of take care is take care that the people's interests be furthered. And the whole idea of the Trump administration is take care that Donald Trump's interests be furthered. So pretty much by definition, we're losing and getting hosed day in and day out. Look, the big theme of the whole Trump administration, right? The converse of no man shall be his own judge, is self-dealing. And this is, particularly the one you've just mentioned, really a very clear variation on the same theme. You've been on a board. You don't have to have been on a board to know that your job, if you're on a board, is to have a lookout for the good health and faith and prosperity of the organization you're on the board of, just like your job, if you're the executive or in the administration, is to take care the people's interests be furthered. And just think about it for a second. How is it possibly in the interest of the Kennedy Center for them to have stuck in? Poison pill is a really good way to put it. They put this provision in, the Trump handpicked folks, so they can then say, oh, if you try to do this, it's going to force everybody gets their money back. In what world is that possibly in the interest of the Kennedy Center, which the board is supposed to be representing? There's a breach of fiduciary duty here that's clear and maybe worse. Let's to the brief, we've gotten used to this. We've seen it in the ballroom, and the most vanity project, somehow he does seem to have some kind of personal participation in the brief. This brief, you would flunk any student that goes 3 pages solid of a single paragraph. And it's got this same kind of Trump free association, like a crazy guy standing up on a bus and just spouting stuff. But it's got 2 main themes. One is, because we have stacked the deck, it's going to be harmful. We'll have to give the money back. But the other is all this perfectly Trumpian self-touting as the only guy who can raise the money because he alone is the very stable genius and the like. So it's just so completely personal, for starters, and so completely indifferent to the interests of the people. And that provision, we do have find ourselves using the word unfathomable with some frequency with the Trump administration. But this is a new one, right? Just put into it a term that if you don't do what Donald Trump wants, the whole thing's going to blow up, and then go to the court and say, oh, look, the whole thing is going to blow up. And of course, the board members, I don't think, gave it a second thought. Donald said, put it in, and they put it in. I'll just say, finally, and this is clear in Judge Cooper's comprehensive opinion and in a lot of people who've come forward who were in the Kennedy Center that he purged. The whole thing also is just a whole tissue of lies. What the Trump administration did to it, did to the collection, how much they messed up a really storied and singular institution in American cultural life. They are the total villains here, and that's the other kind of big twist, to somehow, make it seem like they're the good guys. And yes, it's not surprising that Trump's shtick here is, oh, the place is in terrible disrepair, and I alone, to quote the book title from Carolina, I alone can fix it. The whole thing is just so Trumpian top to bottom, but the basic theme, l'état c'est moi, or the center, it's me, that they actually could stick in these complete lick spittles and have them put in a provision that is obviously not in the interest of the institution that they're supposed to look out for, but rather just for Trump himself to arm with exactly this argument that is laid out in such an irrational and crazy fashion in this brief.
Everybody, make sure you subscribe to Harry Litman's YouTube channel. It's called Talkin' Feds. After this, just search Talkin' Feds. Thanks, Harry.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.